children. Today let us study about chemical properties of. Before starting with chemical properties, let us pass through a term metal activity series or reactivity series. Yes, I know children you have studied this in first chapter, but let us revise that topic once again. Metal activity series or reactivity series means it is a series in which metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity. Okay, it is a series in which metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity. That means as we go down, the reactivity of the metal decreases. The metals which are lying above hydrogen in the reactivity series are considered as very reactive, while metals which are lying below hydrogen in the reactivity series are least reactive metals. Hydrogen, even though it is a non-metal, we are taking hydrogen as the standard in activity series or reactivity series. Is it clear? It is a series in which metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reactivity. Children, there is one special feature here. The metals which are lying above in the series are able to displace metals which are lying below from their salt solution. This is what we have studied it in first chapter. Okay, metals which are lying above in the series are able to displace the metals which are lying below from their salt solution. That means only from the aqueous solution the metals, highly reactive metals, are able to displace the low reactive metals. Okay children, so here we can say that if you consider sodium, sodium is able to displace calcium chloride from the salt solution and it produces sodium chloride and calcium. Since sodium is lying above calcium in the reactivity series, so it is able to displace calcium. Is it clear? Is it clear what is metal activity series? The series in which elements or particularly metals are arranged in the decreasing order of their reaction. Okay, now let us start with the chemical properties of. Have you revised physical properties? Okay, so let us start with chemical properties of metals. First one we can study, that is we are going to study what happens when metal react with oxygen. As a general statement we can say that metal react with oxygen and produces corresponding metallic oxide. Okay, metals react with oxygen and produces corresponding metallic oxide. That is, here we can say that almost all metals, there are certain metals which do not react with oxygen, but generally almost all the metals react with oxygen under different conditions and produces corresponding metallic oxides. Let us see a few examples. If you consider sodium, sodium or potassium react with oxygen under normal condition and produces corresponding oxide, sodium oxide. Children, this reaction is very fast, it is very violent. Whenever sodium comes in contact with oxygen, it burns in oxygen with the production of sodium oxide. But on the other hand, if you consider calcium or magnesium, that combines with oxygen on heating and produces corresponding oxide. Okay, calcium or magnesium. You must have seen the experiment when you burn magnesium ribbon. First you rub it with sandpaper so that the reaction can go faster, and this happens only on heating and produces corresponding oxide. On the other hand, if you consider iron, here in a way iron does not burn in oxygen, but on continuous heating it reacts with oxygen and produces heavy oxide of iron, that is Fe3O4. This is heavy oxide of iron. Is it clear children? But there are certain metals like aluminium or you consider chromium. These metals we can say that they don't react with oxygen. Okay, if you consider metals like aluminium or chromium, they don't react with oxygen. Why? Actually they already have an oxide layer on their surface and this oxide layer protects it from further oxidation. Is it clear? The metals like aluminium or chromium, they are not having generally reaction with oxygen due to the presence of this protective oxide layer on the surface. Is it clear? But the metals like if you consider gold, silver or platinum, they don't react with oxygen at all. Is it clear, children? Reaction of metals with oxygen. So we have seen that almost all the metals react with oxygen and produces corresponding oxide, but condition changes. Sodium reacts very violently with oxygen, but calcium needs heating, iron needs strong heating, and in case of aluminium, already the oxide layer is there, so it protects further oxidation. Children, when we discuss about oxygen, here I want to explain one term which is termed as anodizing. Anodizing means actually it is the artificial preparation of an oxide layer on the surface of aluminium. We are going to coat aluminium by a thick layer of oxygen. He is termed as anodizing. Is it clear, children? It is the way of protecting aluminium by forming a thick oxide layer on its surface. Let us see how this process goes on. In this process, that is, here you can take aluminium as the and carbon you take it as. Okay, in anodizing we use aluminium as the anode and carbon as the cathode, and you take dilute sulfuric acid as electrolyte. We will be using dilute sulfuric acid as electrolyte. On passing current, oxygen will be produced at the anode. Already you know that we are using aluminium as anode. So this oxide layer will be covering aluminium. Okay, and this layer is generally very thick. All the thickness can be adjusted by passing the quantity of current through the solution. Is it clear, children, anodizing? So anodizing means it is the process of protection of an oxide layer artificially on the surface of aluminium. In this case, we use aluminium as the anode and carbon as the cathode. Dilute sulfuric acid is the electrolyte. On passing current, electric current through the solution, oxygen will be produced at the anode and it covers the layer of aluminium. The thickness of this layer always depends on the quantity of electricity passed through the solution. Is it clear? It depends on the quantity of charge passed through the solution. And this thick oxide layer, children, it is very resistant to corrosion or to the action of air and other chemicals. This anodized aluminium is generally used for making window frames or door frames instead of steel or wooden frames. Is it clear? Anodized aluminium frames can be used for making window frames or door frames in case of wooden or steel frames, since they are very resistant to corrosion as well as to the action of other chemicals and air. Is it clear, children, anodizing? And this aluminium already naturally it has a layer of oxide on its surface to protect it from normal corrosion process. Is it clear? Action of air with metals. Yes. Here let us check once more what is the nature of this oxide. Children, this oxide is generally basic in nature. Metallic oxides are basic in nature. How we can say that? That is, if you consider sodium oxide, when it dissolves in water, you will be getting a base sodium hydroxide. Okay, so metallic oxides, we can say that they are generally basic in nature. That is what we can say, that metallic oxide, when dissolves in water, it produces bases. But there are certain metallic oxides like aluminium oxide or zinc oxide or tin oxide. Certain oxides like aluminium oxide or zinc oxide or tin oxide, they react with both acids and bases. It reacts with acid and produces corresponding salt and hydrogen, salt and water, or if you consider sodium hydroxide, react with aluminium oxide and produces sodium meta. Okay, so here we can see that aluminium, even though it is a metallic oxide, it reacts with both acids and bases. This type of metallic oxides which react with both acids and bases are termed as amphoteric oxide. Okay, metallic oxides which react with both acids and bases are termed as amphoteric oxides. So is it clear? The reaction of metals with oxygen. We have seen that metals react with oxygen under different conditions and produces metallic oxides. These metallic oxides are generally basic in nature since it produces bases on reaction with water. But there are certain metallic oxides like aluminum oxide or zinc oxide, yeah, tin oxide, which react with both acids and bases, and they are therefore termed as amphoteric oxides. Okay. Next chemical property, let us consider reaction with metals react with hydrogen and produces corresponding hydride. If you consider, we can say that metals generally react with and produces corresponding hydride. Sodium react with hydrogen and produces sodium hydride. If it is magnesium, it reacts with hydrogen and produces magnesium hydride. So generally we can say that metals react with hydrogen and produces corresponding hydrides. Third one, let us consider reaction with. Again, we can say that metals react with acids and liberate hydrogen. You will get corresponding salt as well as hydrogen. For example, if you consider magnesium plus hydrochloric acid will give you magnesium chloride plus hydrogen. Okay, metals react with acid and produces corresponding salt and hydrogen. This we have seen in chapter 2 also. Then we can say that another example, zinc reacts with the sulfuric acid and produces zinc sulfate and hydrogen. Is it clear? So we have seen that metals react with the dilute acids and liberates hydrogen. They are able to displace hydrogen from acids. But children, you must have seen that I have used a hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid here as the mineral acid. And we know that there is one more common mineral acid, nitric acid. Did I use it here? No. Why? Actually, it is because of the special property of nitric acid. Children, nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes hydrogen produced to water and itself get reduced to oxides of nitrogen. Okay, being a strong oxidizing agent, nitric acid it oxidizes hydrogen to water and itself get reduced to oxides of nitrogen. It can be nitric oxide, nitrous oxide, yeah, nitrogen dioxide. That means N2O, NO, yeah, NO2. Is it clear? But if you just let us consider one example. If you consider zinc plus HNO3, you will be getting zinc nitrate plus NO2 plus H2O. Is it clear? So here we have seen that this is concentrated HNO3. Zinc reacts with the concentrated HNO3, produces zinc nitrate and itself get reduced to NO2. It oxidizes hydrogen to water and reduced to NO2. But there are two metals, children, magnesium and manganese. Magnesium and manganese react with nitric acid and they are able to liberate hydrogen. That is, if you consider magnesium reacts with HNO3 in the diluted form and produces magnesium nitrate and hydrogen as the product. Okay, the metals like magnesium and manganese are able to liberate hydrogen from dilute acid. Is it clear? Reaction of metals with acid. And the last chemical property, we can say that displace metals from salt solution. This already we have studied in first chapter, so we can just pass through that example once more. If you just consider aqueous solution of copper sulfate and to this you add iron fillings. You know that aqueous solution possesses a blue color. So when you add iron fillings to this aqueous solution, the color changes to green due to the formation of FeSO4 plus you will get reddish brown deposit of copper. Is it clear? So you can see that iron, which is more reactive than copper, displaces copper from salt solution and produces green colored FeSO4. So this is an example for displacement reaction. Is it clear, children? In addition to this, we can say that it is an exothermic reaction also. That is, if you just touch the test tube, you can see that it becomes hot. Is it clear? That is about the chemical properties of metals. We will continue the class in next period. Thank you, children.